Hello guys, hope you are doing great. Welcome back. As you can see in this session, I've prepared this model of a building, and what we want to do would be creating a parametric face as its exterior view. Now before we start, take a look at these two images, guys. If you want to work on this view, let's say, in fact, we have a single profile or a single section set in different paths, so the form is not really that different in different areas. In the right image, though, we actually got a little bit more complexity. How? Well, if you pay closer attention, you can see that we actually have different profiles, different sections throughout the model. Like, let's say we've used adaptive elements here. We might have rectangles with different heights, like 10 cm, 20 cm, 40, and so on. And this waveform that you can see has been created through joining all of these rectangles together. Now, the question that we want to explore today will be how exactly we can create such forms in Revit. Well, we actually have several methods, several ways, and in this session, we're going to go through some of them, okay? Now, guys, I'm going to start my work by entering this tab Massing Inside, and I'm going to select In Place Mass. Now, right after, I'm going to set this new mass in the first level. Now, as I said, guys, we want to use this face that we're about to create as our exterior view. So, in fact, we need to make sure that the face would be completely attached to the exterior wall of our building. Now, to do this, I'm going to select Pick Line and start setting these all around our model, like this. Now, after I'm done doing that, I'm going to go ahead and, for example, select this one, Divide Path. Let's say I need, for example, 6 segments, and then I'm going to do the same for this side. Well, I guess 6 is too much, so 4 instead. Now, next up, we can use Spline Through Points. Before that, let me just isolate this line here. Here we go. Now, as I said, select Spline Through Points and start specifying all of these points exactly on this line here, so that the line that we're going to get later on would be completely one component. Alright, now guys, we have 2 lines here. I need to go ahead and select the lower one, which would actually be the reference one. Okay, I can select it and then remove it. Now, this one here, we can also remove this one. Let me try to do this as accurately as possible. It might be a bit difficult because, well, they are overlapped. Okay, now remove this one. Alright, good. Now, select the rest of these and convert them into a reference. Alright, guys, a very important point. If you want to make sure that your copying process will go through completely correctly, you need to specify the required offset on copy mode. In other words, you shouldn't set a new line. Alright, let me demonstrate. What I'm going to do here would be copying this exactly on the same course. I guess it's 45 degrees of an angle. Now, take a look at this. Because we've done this corner-wise, as you can see, the length in the second line actually got reduced. So what should we do about this? Well, the easiest thing that we can do here actually would be setting some lines starting from these points, as you can see. And if you couldn't copy them, you can just go ahead and set them quite manually. It won't take that long, actually. So yeah, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to go ahead and set all of these lines manually. Okay, now up here, I'm going to do the same all the way to this point. Okay, now I'm going to activate Align and start aligning all of these new lines with the points that we had set on the second line here. And this way, both of the main lines would have the same length. And not only that, but also this would become quite handy for us later on when we try to edit the adaptive elements. So just continue doing this aligning right up to the point that we have this curve, and at the end just remove the extra parts. Alright guys, so what we got here right now would be some sort of a path that we can later on use for setting the parametric profiles, okay? Now, I'm going to select these and then try getting a copy of them in a specific elevation code. Let me show you how. Exactly like this, alright? Now, let's go back to the image again. Give me this angle here. All right. For the endpoints, guys, we actually need to do the same as what we did in our previous model. I mean, that parametric cubic form. Like, we just need a couple of points. The rest of the lines are extra. Now, guys, there's actually a common mistake that people tend to make while setting the elements. The mistake is the fact that after specifying the paths here, people might go ahead and select these and try converting them into forms. Now, the thing is, guys, we have several points here. As you can see, they are set on these lines, and well, the points could actually work as references. So, I'm going to select all of these lines here and then activate divide path. And also, I want to have a complete control on the number of segments. So, from number up here, I'm going to go ahead and specify this new parameter. A parameter that I'm going to call number, as you can see, okay? You know, this way, we don't really need to work with UV grids anymore. So, let's try it now. For example, let's set it on 20. How about 30? Okay. Now, we have the points, guys, and they are aligned. And by the way, because of the length difference that we got in the curved parts, we might see some angle differences as well. Other than that, everything else seems fine. Now, let's try working on the adaptive that we need. Now, first off, let's see how many vertices we exactly need for this. We need 6 of them. Okay. So now, I'm going to go ahead and open up an adaptive generic model template. Here we go. I'm going to change up the view and set the work plane here. Now, as I said, we need 6 vertices. Okay, now select them all, make adaptive. Then afterwards, we need to use spline through points and right on the spot, convert them into references. Then we need to connect the endpoints through using a completely straight spline like this. And immediately afterwards, convert this spline into a reference line as well. Now, we need a volumized object, so select them all and create form. Alright, let me see now. The thickness was specified based on the negative offset. Well, doesn't really matter though. Just specify the parameter based on the positive offset. Alright, let's call it thickness, and as always, test the parameter immediately to find out, to make sure that there's no problem with it. 20 cm. Okay, good. Now set the negative offset on 0. Now, let's load this into the project. Then set all of the 6 points. Okay. Now select this, hit repeat, and just like this, the adaptive element would be set all around our model. It will be reproduced. And as you can see, they would also get this specific rotation because of the curviness that we have in our path. And by the way, guys, you can also set all of these one by one and separately, but more on that later on. For now, let's just try working with this number parameter a bit. Like, let's set it on 100. Okay, wait for it. Here we go. As you can see, the number is completely controllable. Now, this is too much, though. Let's go with 70 instead. Okay, wait for it. There we go. So, yeah, 70 works pretty well. Now, we can actually start designing the exact form that we want. Now, I'm going to start my work by selecting all of these 4 points. Then, I'm going to enter this view. And then I'm going to try moving them upwards. Before that, don't forget to deactivate this join. Right, now let's see how it goes. Here we go. This would be the form that we would get. And I guess we can do the same for these 2 vertices as well. Let's see. Yeah, not bad. Okay, now let's try changing the form a little bit in the top parts here. For example, I guess it'll work pretty well if we move these corner vertices downwards a bit. Let's see. By the way, guys, we haven't converted the face into a form yet, but as you can see, the modifications are being applied without any problems. Oh, and don't forget to move the points as couples. Like, if we try moving only one of these, the model would become deformed, actually. Okay, what else? I'm going to move this one upwards as well so that we would get a gap in between the profiles and the ground, like this. Okay, we can still do more, but let's just leave it for now. And instead, let's see what we can do for this side. Again, we can move these upwards a bit. Alright, good. So guys, up to this point, we only move these on the Z course. Let's try another course now. Like, for example, let's move these out, like pull them out, in other words. Okay, like this. And as you can see, everything works quite nicely. I mean, we have a good flexibility here. All the points are working and moving freely on different courses. And well, as you can see, we haven't faced any errors yet. Well, because we haven't done anything wrong yet. We might get an error if we try, for example, creating a very extreme deformity, all right? Okay, the next vertices that I'm going to work with would be these 4. And then I'm going to try moving them upwards to change the form like this. Good. Okay, next, let me try pulling this out and see what's going to happen. Okay, now this isn't working. This is actually deformed. Let me go back for a second. Control Z. I'm going to give you a point. You should try to prevent the profiles from colliding as much as possible. Like, for example, here, as you can see, they are getting closer and closer. To prevent the collision, you can go ahead and then, for example, select this point and, in this case, move it to the right a little bit to make sure that you won't get any collisions in between the profiles. Now, I'm going to try pulling this out one more time. Let's see how it goes this time. Okay, good. Now let's do the same thing for this point up here. Yeah, that's very nice. Okay, guys, so far so good. Basically, the form is quite optional. Just make sure you won't create any extreme deformities or, for example, any collisions in between the profiles, or nothing gets removed by mistake. Let's see if we are able to do more. Like, I guess we can also pull this point outwards. And by the way, guys, you can also try a different course. Like, you can, for example, push the vertices in. And yeah, I guess we're done here. Basically, this would be the first method for creating such a view. And you know what? Let me just enlarge the ground here a little bit. All right. I'm going to set a camera here. Now I'm going to change my camera angle a little bit. All right. Now to add more detail, I'm going to select these 2 walls and set them on. Where is it? Here, storefront. To get some sort of a glass wall kind of view. Now, if we deactivate the mask, the points would disappear. And well, regarding graphic display, I'm going to activate shadows first. And also, let's add a background. And this would be the end result. And you know what, guys? Let's try getting an export here as well. An image. Yeah, why not? So, specify the path that we want first. Then, for the name, let's go with Alt 1. Yeah, save. Set this on 100. Maybe 300. And yeah, let's create the export. And all done. Let's work on the second method now. For the second method, guys, I want to have the same form again, but this time instead of this curved shape, I want my form to have this angular shape to it, okay? For creating such a form, I need to go back to my adaptive template again. And this time, instead of using a single line for connecting all of these vertices, all of these adaptive points, I need to use separate lines. And well, obviously, by doing this, instead of creating a curved form, a completely curved form, we'll get an angular one. All right, let's see how it goes. I'm going to convert these into reference lines. And exactly like before, give it a thickness and load it into the project. Now wait for the modifications to be applied. And here we go. We don't have that curviness here anymore. Let's try getting another export now. Let's call it Alt 2. Okay. Now, guys, let's say we want the form of these corner profiles to be as well organized as possible. Well, to make sure of such a result, you can go ahead and specify the form of each profile completely separately and one by one. So, let me remove all of these first. And you know what, let's just do this again from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to start by selecting this wall here first. All right, we have converted this wall into a curtain wall, so we can just select it entirely. All right. Now, as I said, we need to do this separately. Let's see what I mean here. First, for this curve part here, set the points one by one and separately. Here we go. Then let's get a copy. And then we can do the same. I mean, we can set the rest of the points separately. Let me just get a copy of this point here. Like this. And then continue setting the rest of the points with a specific gap in between them. Now, remove this line. Then select the points and connect them with a line. And then right after, we can copy the line like this. Here we go. Now let's select this and move it here. Don't mind the overlap. Or, you know what? I guess we can even do something else to make sure that we're doing this more properly. Instead of that connecting line, we can go ahead and copy the points down here. And then we can again connect them. All right. Now let's go back to our 3D view here. And I'm going to try selecting this curved line. So let me just do so. Okay, something is wrong. Let me see. Oh, I didn't do the removing correctly due to this overlapping situation that's going on here. All right, anyway, let's say we want to create the segments here through the right path. Like, let's say we want 20 of them. And also, let's say we want 20 of them here as well. Although we have the same number, the segments will be quite different because of the different lengths that we have. Now, let's say we want to, for example, set something here. You know what? Let me just try to complete this first before moving on. Control Z. Now I'm going to remove this line. This time we did it correctly. All right, let's convert these into references. And then start copying them in a specific elevation code. Like this. All right, now, next thing that we need to do here would be removing these back vertices. We don't need them anymore. So yeah, let's just remove them. Okay. Now, I'm only going to select this part, divide path now. Then this part, divide path again. This way, we'll get different segments once more. Oh, and also, if you want them to work based on this, well, number parameter here, again, the segments, the gaps would work quite differently. So, due to all of this, the best thing that we can do here would be setting a single profile here first. And then we can check the gaps to find out whether they work or not. I mean, yeah, this is actually quite nice. Like, approximately, we have a 43 cm of gap in between each profile here. Now, I'm going to start changing this number gradually to find out when exactly we're going to get closer to that 43. All right, let me see. Seems like 18 will do. Now, let's check the number here real quick. We have 70. Let's open up the calculator for a second. Now, 70 divided by 18, we have 3.8. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and select these this time. Afterwards, from number, I'm going to specify this new parameter. Let's call it NOM. Okay. And from family and type, I'm going to specify a formula for this. Whatever we had for number, okay, let me try to write this correctly. Okay, the formula would be like this. We had 3.8 here, or rather 3.9. So 70 times 3.9. I'm sorry, divided actually. We need to divide this by 3.9. And the result would be this. As you can see, 17.9 something. You know what? Let's just divide it by 3.8. Okay, yeah, this is better. 18. We have 18 now. And obviously, the parameter would be specified based on this formula. Now, we can start working on the profiles that we need for this side. But before that, let me just modify the length here. I'm going to move this upwards a little bit to align the lines. Like this, okay? Now, I can start setting the profiles that I need right here. Okay, like this. Then afterwards, select it and try reproducing it. Now guys, if you remember in our last method, the profiles were set here with a specific rotation to them. Why? Well, because in our last method, we set all the profiles throughout the model all together simultaneously. In this method, though, everything is more well organized. And for example, if we change the form on this side, nothing will happen on the other side. You know what? Let me demonstrate. I'm going to pull this out a little bit. I guess it's too much, though. Or honestly, it's not that bad. Now let me go further with this form changing. I'm going to select these points and move them upwards to get something like this. Okay. And again, guys, this side has remained completely intact, as you can see. However, guys, because we are working with a curved form here, if we, for example, go ahead and move these bottom points a bit upwards, we might get a little bit of rotation, but this rotation is not that severe. I mean, more specifically compared to what we had in our last method. Okay, let's go back now and start adding the deformities after the curved part. For example, let's see what we can do. I'm going to move these points upwards a bit. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, good. Now these points up here. We can, for example, pull the points outwards. You know what? Basically, we are repeating the same process as before. The important point here was to show you what's going to happen if we set the profile separately. And we find out that we'll get a more well-organized form. Why this profile is set here like this? I guess we need to flip it. It's going to deform the whole thing if we do this. So yeah, Control Z, let's go back. I think this happened because of the deformities that we have created throughout the model. Overall, guys, this is another way for creating such a form. And by the way, we're still able to control the number of the profiles while the mask is deactivated. We just need to open up Type Properties. And here, instead of 70, we can set this on 40, let's say. And this modification would be applied on the whole model completely correctly because of the parameters and, well, the formula that we have specified. And again, there's no more extra deformity like that rotation that we discussed. All right, now let's take a look at what we have created. Let me deactivate mask again. And afterwards, let's create another image export. Let me find it. Image here. Okay, for the name, I'm going to go with Alt-3. Save. And OK. Now, guys, if you remember, we actually had two images. Let's try the first one now. Well, guys, the most important point regarding this model is the fact that we don't have that two-layer surface here anymore. So, having said that, let's see how we can work on it. Like, more specifically, guys, we only have a single profile, a single section to work with. Okay. I'm not going to remove this. I'm only going to turn it off. Now, here, I'm going to go ahead and pick this line. And then another one, for example, this. And the third one down here. Now, guys, to make sure that we are doing this quite accurately, I'm going to go ahead and set those 6 points here again. And also, I'm going to specify segments on this line, but I'm going to increase the number of segments. For example, let's say 8 or, well, maybe even 9. And then for this side, I guess this will do actually. Now, I'm going to start connecting all of these points through spline through points, and I'm going to do it one by one, as you can see. You know, doing this will give us a very good control on the form of our model, more specifically later on when we want to control the form based on an elevation code. Okay, let me remove all of these here. Now, next, select this line, convert it into a reference, and then start moving it upwards and setting it throughout the model like this. And by the way, just for now, it's not really that important how much gap we exactly have in between them. Now, select this bottom line down here and remove it. Okay, now guys, select this, divide path, and let's give it a number as well. Here we go. Okay guys, remember, back to the image, we only want to work with a single section here. So as a result of this, I'm going to go ahead and specify a new form or create a new adaptive element actually. So let's open up the adaptive template. Now I'm going to set a points here. How many copies we had actually? We had 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So back to the adaptive template. I'm going to go ahead and set 4 points here. Now set the connecting line, then select the points and click on make adaptive. Okay, now I'm going to start creating my profile here. However, I'm not going to spend any time working on its parameters because, well, up to this point we have talked about it plenty and I'm sure you already know how to do that. All right, here we go. This would be our profile. This is too large, I guess, but it's just an example, so don't worry about it. Let's just load it in and start setting it in our model like this. Now, question, guys. How we can control its form after reproducing it? Well, let's see. For example, I'm going to go ahead and start moving these vertices around a little bit. Like, for example, let's start by moving these bottom points upwards. Okay, as you can see, we have a bit of deformity on our hands. Well, this happened because first, the size of the profiles is too large, and also, we actually rushed this modification. Now, to prevent this from happening, we actually need a bit more patience, like go ahead, select several points here, and gradually move them upwards, like this. Alright, now select this middle point, and now move this upwards. Let's see how it goes. Alright, seems like we got an error here because this got crooked actually. You know what? According to the image, this point has moved outwards a little bit. And if I do the same, this will happen, as you can see. And we can do the same for this part. You know what, guys? I think the main problem that we have here right now is the fact that we actually have too many points. So let me modify that. Let me remove some of them. You know, I guess we're going to get better proportions. Yeah, actually, this is the case. See, now that we are removing the points, the form is getting better and better. Okay, what is this subnormal thing here? Anyway, let me just remove it. And now I'm going to try moving this point upwards again. Let's see what kind of form we're going to get. Here we go. Okay, one of the profiles got removed. Let me set it back. So exactly like before we needed 4 points, right? And yeah, basically this would be the third method for creating such models. Now, honestly, guys, the last two methods were more interesting. Just wanted to make sure that you'd become completely familiar with all the ways that you can go with for creating such forms. Alright guys, we're basically done here. Let's just go through the images one more time. Okay, first one, Alt 1, then Alternative 2, and Alternative 3. And as you just saw in the second and the third one, we have a more orderly angular form, but to be honest, I actually like the first one. Yeah, I like this version more. Okay, guys, when you want to do this yourself, try to be as accurate as possible. For example, when you want to set or even copy the lines. You know what? Let me just give you a quick demonstration here. Let's say you are working in your plan like this. If you remember, we said that when we set the first line, we actually need an offset based on it. And to do that, you just need to copy the first line instead of setting a new one. And yeah, just basically try to be as precise as possible. Alright everyone, hope you all enjoyed our session. Don't forget to practice and I'll see you guys next time.